Hey guys, CharrChan here, and today's video is a painting, a digital painting, and this took me about 7 hours, a bit longer. Honestly, I don't spend a lot of time on my digital artworks. I normally spend a maximum of 3 hours on average, and that's pushing it. But when I decide I'm gonna do a big digital artwork, it normally takes me about 7 or 8 hours, and that's what this one did. First things first, I want to mention that I'm not editing my voiceovers since I do have tendinitis in both wrists, and you know, if you follow my channel, and you've probably heard me say this like 10 times, can't sit and edit at the computer because it hurts my wrists, and so yeah. Anyway, so this painting, as I said, it took me 7 hours, but that's not including all of the time that I mentally thought about it. The mental work that went into it was much more than I normally would put into some artwork. Normally in my digital work, I don't do this kind of painty stuff very often. Sometimes, but not very often. And when I do, it's normally just a little quick sketchy thing and just slapping the colours on there. But this time I was like, no, I'm gonna go for it, and just full effort, all of the effort, and thinking about my colour choices and my shading, and you know, I actually thought about it for once. And I really like it. I think this turned out really well. And I've received some lovely comments on Tumblr, so thank you to the people who are reblogging it and stuff. It means a lot to me. So yes, what can I say? So for my line art on Yugioh, I didn't want to have like hard lines. I wanted soft line art, kind of. Not like floaty lines or anything, just a little bit more painterly-ish, rather than just going in with the inking pen. So I did my sketch with the watercolour brush, and then I continued with the watercolour brush and just refined my sketch, and then kept erasing bits and putting bits back in, and that's how I did the line. You can see me doing it now, it's on screen. I did line Jammy with the watercolour brush. He's just straight up lined like you would a regular illustration. But yeah, Yugioh is done with the weird technique that I do sometimes. I used to do this technique a little bit more often, but I haven't really done it as much recently. It's fun, it's quite nice. It's a little bit faster in some ways than... Okay, no, it's not faster than doing regular lines. It depends. Depends how fast you work and just what you're drawing. Anyway, what else can I say? When we get to colouring, I put a lot of effort into the colouring, as I said. So for the colours, I really wanted to get the point across that the Millennium Puzzle is glowing, and I think I did pretty well at that. So the puzzle is glowing slightly, and I'm not very good at describing. I wish that this line art portion didn't go on for so long, but this video is sped up as fast as it will go. I'm using Shortcut. It's a free editing software, and it can speed videos up 20 times max, at least on the version I'm on. And so yeah, this is as fast as it goes, unless I want to export the video as a full thing and then do it again. But you know, I spent 7 hours over a few months on this, so we're gonna see the whole 20 minutes. I mean, feel free to mute me and put on some music if you really want, but yeah. I'm gonna ramble about God knows what, so I hope you enjoy. So recently I have been very obsessed with Yugioh, as you may or may not know. I draw Yugi a lot. He's my favourite character. Not Yami, Yugi specifically is my favourite, though I do love Yami as well, of course. And I'm currently on episode 210 or something of Yugioh, the Duel Monsters series, the first one. After I finish Duel Monsters, I think I'm gonna watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 1998, the first animated series, because that's very different apparently to the Duel Monsters one. So yeah. And then I also want to rewatch Duel Monsters again, because it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm watching the English dub right now because that was all I could find, but I'm pretty sure I could easily find the Japanese dub with subtitles as well. So I'll have a look for that and maybe watch that on my next go around. So yeah. Anyway, what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, I've amassed quite the little Yu-Gi-Oh figure collection all of a sudden. It's been quite the quickly growing collection of Yu-Gi-Oh figures. Right now I have 3 Yugis on my desk. I've got the Yami Yugi Nendoroid, I've got the Yami Yugi Puppet Parade, and I also have the Yugi Dark Side of Dimensions prize figure, so that's happening on my desk. My desk is full of toys and anime figures, by the way. If you've seen my desk, it's cluttered, but it looks good in my opinion. Although my desk is a little bit messy right now, it does need a bit of a clean, like just some organising is needed. Aside from that, it looks pretty good. But no, I also have the Kotobukiya Joey figure, and today arrived in the post the Yami Yugi Kotobukiya Artifacts J figure, and I love it so much. I just spilt tea on myself. Yeah, don't hold a cup of tea while you're doing your voiceover. That's probably not smart. I'm not even drinking it, it's just kind of sat here with me. Yeah, anyway, so now I'm slightly damp, but that's fine. Okay, right, when I was doing these cards on the drawing, I was like, oh, I don't want to line like 50 individual cards. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is digital. I can just draw one, copy and paste it, and change the perspective and rotate it, and it was done in like 5 minutes. Okay, it wasn't quite 5 minutes, more like 15. But, you know, it was fast. So, digital art, very good, much easier and faster than traditional in some aspects. It's not exactly easier than traditional art, it's just, you know, there's little advantages here and there, such as copy and paste. What can I say? We're still on the lines. It has been like 7 minutes and the line art is still going. It's taking a while. We should be colouring in the next couple of seconds, I hope. Yeah, there we go, we're colouring, yay! Okay, so when I was colouring, I was like, I'm gonna do my shading as I go, since it just made the most sense with the kind of process I was doing with this one. Painterly kind of colouring going on. I'm not really sure how painterly it is, but you know. The eyes on Yugi will stay pretty much like that for the entire process, but I do clean them up in the end. Yeah, I tried my best to do dramatic shading and lighting. The lighting isn't that dramatic, but the shading is more dramatic than I'd normally do, I think. I've been trying to really think more about my shading, because for the past 10 years I've been drawing, I haven't shaded very well. It's been very like two-dimensional looking. So I'm trying to think of things as 3D objects, and it's working, I think, I hope. So, yeah. I mean, obviously these are stylized things, I'm not going for hyper-realism here. Oh, I am going to mention while I remember, his arms, his forearms are just not quite right. They're just a little bit off, but, you know, if we ignore that, it's fine. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say, really. I don't want to just leave you with music or anything. This thing took me forever. I'm determined to talk through this whole voiceover. But I am running out of things to talk about, so... I think last week's video was the Joey Artifacts J figure unboxing, so maybe I'll talk a bit about my ideas for Yu-Gi-Oh figures that I think should exist, and just stuff that I'm hoping to obtain in the somewhat distant future. Well, I mentioned all the figures that are currently in the collection, but I have actually pre-ordered 2 more Yu-Gi-Oh figures. The collection, as I said, it's growing quite rapidly. I pre-ordered the Kaiba and Dark Magician Girl pop-up parades, and speaking of those, I do have a funny story. So, this is about Dark Magician Girl. So, it was Christmas Day, we were having Christmas dinner, and my gran was over, as well as my 2 cousins and my aunt, and that was all the family that was over. It's just a very small little gathering. Anyway, so yeah, I showed, my gran was like, talking to me, I was like, oh, look at this thing that I bought, and it's the Dark Magician Girl. So I showed her the Dark Magician Girl pop-up parade, and she's like, oh, that's pretty. My gran loves anything like that, she loves bright colours and stuff, so my gran was like, oh, that's pretty. And then my cousin, she's like, oh, what's that? So I turn it around and I show her on my phone, and her face just kind of I don't want to say disgust was the expression, but it was like questioning what I had purchased. I was like, no, it's not like that. And then she asked me, is that for children? And I was like, no. I didn't really know what to say. I was like, well, the show kinda was, but these are not for children. I just didn't really know what to say. I was like, why would you think would you think I was buying like adult anime figures and then showing my gran? It's not, adult anime figures, it's a niche market. It's not my kind of thing. I can appreciate them, but I'd rather have safe for work anime figures in my collection. But yeah, that was a fun little story. It's quite funny. Yeah. But I am very excited for my 2 anime figures to eventually get here. I had an update from my pre-order site that said that they should be releasing like mid to late January, but I have a feeling it's probably going to be like February or March. It depends on the delays and stuff, but just gotta be patient. Yeah. What else can I talk about? Well, I do have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh figures that I'm hoping to get. Ichiban Kuji just released these really cool looking Yu-Gi-Oh figures. Of course the Yu-Gi-Oh figures, that's what I'm talking about here. They released these, it's a Kaiba and a Yugi, or Yami Yugi, and a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Anyway, the 2 boys, they have these really cool backgrounds on the figures, and I was like, oh, I need those in the collection. But they're quite expensive. So, well, they're not like super duper expensive, but apparently they're prize figures. There's not really a lot of information about them, but apparently they're prize figures, and the second-hand market is like £100. I'm like, that, yeah. So I'll just keep waiting and see what happens with that. I would also love to get the Dark Magician Girl Nendoroid to go with my Yugi. And also I hope that they release like a Kaiba or a Joey or any of the other characters as Nendoroids, because I will buy them. Well, eventually. Yeah. I actually put in a product request with Good Smile the other week. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh related, surprisingly. I put in a request for the if you've watched I can't talk, can I? The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. I put in a request for an Nendoroid of him. I know a few people have. I've seen people on my figure collection like, please, we need him. Because right now they only have 1 figure of him, and it's so ugly. It's the ugliest thing I have ever seen. Just go and search it. Psyche K figure. It's so ugly. So maybe Good Smile will listen to us if we keep adding requests. Obviously I'm not going to spam them, just send one, and yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, I do actually have a bunch of ideas for anime figures that I think should exist, so I guess I could tell you about my Yu-Gi-Oh ones, because that's relevant to the video, I guess. Oh yeah, for the Millennium Puzzle that I drew here, I tried to, actually put detail into it, because normally when I draw the Millennium Puzzle I don't put any of the little, lines on it. I just kind of draw a triangle with an eye on it, But, it depends on the level of detail the drawing has about how much you want to add to it. Also, I really like how Yami's eyes look with the shading. I think that looks really cool. Not to be too excited about my own artwork, but I think it looks pretty good. I also really like the rainbow thing that I did with the eyes. I wasn't sure what I was doing with those, but I'm so glad I went for the rainbows. I think it's a muted rainbow as well. I think it looks really good. I haven't been this excited about one of my own drawings in quite a while, so, I'm a bit excited. Anyway, I was going to tell you about my Yu-Gi-Oh figure ideas. So there's tons of figures of Yami Yugi, and I love Yami Yugi, we all love him, but where are the Yugis? Like the boy himself, Yugi. Where is he? He's got like 2 figures, one of them's a Figma, and I'm not really into Figmas. I just, I prefer my anime figures to be static, unless they're Nendoroids. I mean, Figmas are cool, but they're just not my kind of thing, So there's a Figma of Yugi, and then there's the prize figure that I own. It's the Dark Side of Dimensions one, so there's 2 figures of him. Please give us more. Anyway, I had an idea that there could be a figure of Yugi with Yami stood behind him, and Yami could be maybe transparent or translucent. Sorry, yeah, translucent. I think that would be so cool. Like, I'm talking like painted but translucent, like coloured paint job thing, but translucent, yeah? Yeah. That would be so cool. I know it would be quite a pricey figure. Maybe it would make a good resin kit, because I know resin kits are a thing, like garage kits is what I'm trying to say. Resin kit, garage kit, same thing. So yeah, I think that would be a really cool figure that could exist, but I can dream. There should just be more figures of Yugi in general. Also, I think Good Smile could honestly make so much money if they just made a Yugi Nendoroid, like plain Yugi, or maybe like sell faceplates and the little fringe replacement, so that you could, you know, buy extra parts, you know? Or if they really wanted to, they could make a whole separate Nendoroid of Yugi, but maybe they could make him wearing his like school jacket, because the Nendoroid has it like a cape. So yes, there's my ideas. Also, we really need something of Mokuba. Like, there's that minifigures, there's like a set of minifigures of literally all the characters, but there's no scale figures or anything, you know, decent of Mokuba. So please. Same goes for Taya and Tristan as well. There's also like one Joey figure, and that's really surprising. Kotobukiya did a bunch of the characters, but they still didn't do Taya or Tristan, but they did do Joey, so thank you, Kotobukiya. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a figure of Tristan with his little monkey robot version of himself, but I don't know if I dreamt that, saw an illustration, or like it was a custom thing. I feel like a figure exists, or maybe a resin kit, but I don't know. I think that would be a really cool figure though, so yeah. But no, I think there should also be a figure of Kaiba with Mokuba, like just, you know, the brothers together. That would be so cute. So there's my ideas. I also wish there was more like Karibo things. Like there's like 2 Karibo figures, I think. There is like a little keychain of Yugi that exists, and he's holding Karibo, and I want it so much. It's one of the... Oh, sorry, that's the 3rd actual Yugi himself figure, but that doesn't really count as a keychain. I would love to own that, but it's rare and expensive, and I'm not really willing to pay like £50 for a keychain, you know? I'm not quite there yet. Yeah. I'd like to make a video where I do talk about more of my figure ideas, because I have a lot, but not all of them are Yu-Gi-Oh related, so I don't want to bung them all in this video. I don't want to bombard you with series that you've never heard of. So yeah. Anyway, we are almost at the end of this video. There's like 3 minutes left, I think, something like that, so we're getting there. Wow, I'm surprised I managed to talk for this long. I've tried to record this voiceover like 3-4 times, because I haven't been taking breaks while I'm talking. I'm just kind of just going for it, just saying things constantly and hoping that I can talk for the whole 20 minutes, and so far so good, so let's keep it going. If you follow me on Instagram or anywhere really, you might have seen that I keep drawing, or did keep drawing, Yugi, but as a My Little Pony character. I think that's a kind of cute thing that I drew once. I draw occasionally, sorry, I draw it sometimes. It's fun to draw, it was really fun to design as well, so I should really draw more of that, I guess. Oh, maybe I could talk a little bit about how I'm colouring the line art here. So I wanted some of the lines to be a bit less like strong than some of the other lines, so I tried to pull some of them back by colouring them in like light brown skin colours, and I did a bit of shading, like light source shading on some of the lines, like his hands and his face. And for the background, I used the smudge tool to just kind of smudge around all those colours. Kind of reminds me of the Shadow Realm, so that's that. I did the same kind of thing for these swooshing cards behind him as well. I think it looks pretty good. I was kind of worried that I left too much blank space around like Yugi. Like, you see there's like 2 triangles of just empty space. I mean, it kind of looks fine, but also I'm a bit like, maybe I could do something with that, but you know, it's a bit late now. We are at the end of the video pretty much, just adding a couple of little final touches. With the highlights in Yammy's eyes, I didn't want to leave them as white, so what I did was I put the layer on multiply, I think? What did I set it as? Set it as something, and then it, you can still see the details that I painted behind the eye reflections, so I think I did a good choice there. It also kind of suits the colour palette more, I think. Yugi's eyes are a much more like vibrant pinky purple kind of shade, just because I thought it would look cool for this particular drawing. And yes, I think we are at the end of the video. I managed to talk pretty much non-stop for 20 minutes, which is not surprising because I do like to ramble. So yes, here we are, the finished thing. I hope you enjoy it because it took me so long to draw. But no, I'm so happy with how this turned out. So I'm gonna sign off now. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not hit the like button as that probably hurts and it's not very nice, so maybe shake his hand instead. With that being said, I hope to see you in the next one, and bye!